Hello, I'm Chuck Phillip and welcome to Southern Home Talk, and I just bought this welding machine a few days ago. It's called a Tooliom. This is the model TL250, which is supposed to be 250 amps, and so I ran this a few days ago on 110 or 120 power, and even with thin wire it didn't do too well. So this thing came with an adapter to get it up to 240 volts, and that's what this is. This is what came with this. I believe this is the old style range outlet, but it goes to 120 outlet on this side, so it's a good thing it has this sort of adapter, because if you was to put a 120 outlet there that was juiced up to 240 and someone didn't know that, they'd probably blow up the leaf blower. And so we're going to see if this fares any better pumping up this voltage to 240. And so this welding machine is supposed to do stick, MIG, and TIG, and we're going to see how well that does too after I get the voltage up on it. And so what I did is I came over here to my panel and I put a 30 amp breaker in, which is what the directions called for. And I'm also using the same brand breaker as the panel too, so that's important as well, because mismatched breakers on panels can be an issue. And so I got these wires marked like they should, with the white being the neutral, and of course this neutral is sharing the ground bar. This is actually the ground bar there, so that would be the neutral bar, and this black bar you see going across ties the two together. And so they can be together on the main panels, but in downstream subs they have to be separated. And you can see that green screw, that's where it's bonded to the panel. And so anyway, this is pretty much ready to stick in there. And this is the outlet I purchased at Home Depot, and so it's basically just pretty straightforward there, and it's just stab locks in the back and these set screws go in. This is around $14, and so this will pretty much just plug into this like that, and this will be the pigtail here to the welding machine. Now it doesn't have a lot of cord coming out the back of this, so if you decide you need to get further away from your outlet, I don't advise using regular extension cord like 14-2 or even 12-2. You're going to have to step up the cord to at least 10-2 wiring, and I probably wouldn't go no further than 25 feet with that because of the current draw of 240 volts. And not only that, this is kind of a rudimentary way of doing this. I've never seen this done before. So anyway, stay tuned. Part 2 is coming up, so I just figured I would show you what I did in this part to pretty much get this to boost it up to 240. Alright guys, I figured I'd do a recap and give you some of my personal tips about this machine. You can run the larger spools of wire. That's what that is for. There's the adapter for the large spools. I've got 035 in there now, which is flux core welding wire. And you'll have to keep in mind of the roller size as well. That needs to correspond to the wire size that you're running, and also the tips needs to be the same size as well. Now this just flips over like this. It's got spring loaded, and then put it back down, and you can also screw down to put more tension on it. And so really the thing to do, this is something you're going to be really mindful of, guys, is when you get these spools of wire, you want to be real careful when you pull the wire out, because it'll just bust off of there and just come completely unraveled from the spool. And so you want to hold on to that real tight so that doesn't happen, and then run your wire through there, clamp this on it, and once it's secured, then you can turn the machine on and pull the trigger and run the wire through the cable. And I also recommend that these tips be off of this when you run the wire through, and then slide the tip back onto the wire after it comes out of the end of the nozzle. Now another tip I was going to share is that I use petroleum jelly on these tips and also inside the nozzle. That helps keep slag from sticking to it, and it's always good to have a pair of good cutters to cut the right length off the end as it comes out. This does come with the stick cable, and you can see that right there. And I did run 6011 and 7018 3/32. It ran it really good. And so far all the things that I've used has worked fantastic, as long as it's been in the 240 volt setting. I was not able to do too well at 120, so just know that. Now this is stainless, it's also fluxed, but if you're going to weld aluminum, are going to have to go to gas, and this machine does handle that function. You can run gas through this, and also with the TIG as well. So I have not seen any other machine that can do quite as much as this and do it with quality. And so I think there again, this is probably going to be about as good as it's going to get for a welding machine at this price point. Now I got this welding shield from Harbor Freight for about 50 bucks. Of course, you'll need gloves. It's always good to have an offset grinder with the wire wheels. It did come with that little brush right there, but also a clamp like that and a chipping hammer will come in handy as well. And so I hope this has been somewhat informative, guys. I am going to do a follow-up video on another Tooliom machine, this plasma cutter here. Why not keep it all the same in case some of these parts are interchangeable? And so I will be doing one on that, and I'll also be doing a video on how I'm converting my range to a flat level cooktop like this as well. That's going to be kind of interesting to see. We just got to see how well this turns out, so that's what I'm working on now. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.